Hello, Watem here and welcome back to some more Higurashi When They Cry. Let's find out what it is.
あなたへのメモもあります。教室へ戻る途中で竜宮さんに見つからないようにこっそり読んでください。では、そのまま戻って。これ以上は不信がられます。
I just followed his directions. I was worried Rena had begun to suspect something. When I looked at the classroom, the curtains were closed. And that didn't mean she wasn't peeking out through a crack. I went back to the entrance and locked the door. If Rena had checked and found the door unlocked, it could cause more trouble. Rena was in the classroom. There was no way she'd come down this way. She was alone. If she left the classroom, everyone would get up and run. They couldn't run because Rena was there, but they were all waiting for their chance. The entrance, then, was Rena's blind spot. As I changed my shoes, I quickly removed what Oishi-san had put into my pocket. There was a radio with an earpiece, and something else that looked like a short police baton. There was also a folded piece of paper. I opened the piece of paper and saw a note written in small print. Dear Maibara-kun, please hide the bug in your pocket. It picks up even a low voice, so you can use it to get in touch with me. By using the earphone, you can hear me in return. There is also a spray for self-protection. It sprays as far as 1 meter. Make sure you aim for the face. This must be the spray. I guess it's safe to try it here. I held down the button and gas sprayed out from the nozzle. Compared to Rena's hatchet, this required some caution, but it was small enough to fit inside of my hand. It was reassuring that I could hide it so easily. In other words, it was now possible for me to stop Rena. As I realized all my classmates' fates rested on my shoulders, I felt sweat form on my face. The memo continued. The spray is just for self-defensive purposes. Pepper spray only impairs eyesight, and while it makes your enemies powerless due to extreme pain and coughing for at least 30 minutes, it's not powerful enough to render them unconscious. Therefore, please don't forget that there is a possibility that your enemy may fight back desperately in panic. This spray is their last resort. Please don't depend on it, but if you need to, make sure to use it. Oishi. Was he telling me to use it or not? It was probably one of those grown-up issues. If the cops entrusted me solely with the fate of the hostages and I failed, they'd be held liable. Probably something like, if she's about to kill someone, use it then. So while he gave me a weapon, he made me consider its use. I hid the bug and spray in my pockets and went back to the classroom. I felt a little dizzy, maybe because I was nervous. I was simply following Rena's orders because I had no other choice. That was why I wasn't scared. But things are different from before. I had a weapon. I was in a far better position, but my heart was pounding. Things are so strange. Shit. What am I going to do? What should I do? Keiichi Maibara? Did I want to fight with Rena? The memo said the spray only reaches as far as 1 meter. 1 meter? That was basically a hand-to-hand battle. That meant I only had one opportunity. I didn't have a second chance. The memo also said I'd need to aim for her face. That wasn't going to be easy. Shit. Besides, Rena was cautious. How could I stand directly in front of her within 1 meter? That's what I'd have to do if I was to have any chance of winning. Rena would do anything to reach her goal. She wouldn't even hesitate to kill. Just like how I didn't. Of course, things were already extremely serious. An apology definitely wouldn't be enough. But at least there hadn't been any casualties. The more time passed, the more irritated Rena would get. She might demand something again. She might kill someone that time to show how serious she was. Bad things had already taken place, but a tragedy hadn't occurred yet. But it was almost here. It wasn't very far at all. When I closed my eyes, I could easily picture Rena killing one classmate after another. After I killed Rena and Neon, my room was covered in blood. If she killed 20 people, the classroom would be a pool of it. If that happened, Rena would. She still wouldn't realize she was being delusional. She'd rip out her own throat and die. That would be too big a cross for her to carry. One day, she would remember and be saddened. She didn't need to go through that. I didn't want Rena to go through what I had to go through. I felt dizzy. This was a very long hallway. I didn't know the classroom was so far. With each step I took, my determination to fight Rena became stronger. Rena would be shocked to realize I betrayed her. But if she couldn't wake up from the nightmare on her own, someone else would have to wake her up. And her friends needed to be the ones to do that.
おかえり、ケイチくん。大石さん、何か言ってた？
なんだ？
As soon as I stepped into the classroom, I smelled something. Iron. Everyone had moved to one corner of the classroom. The smell reminded me of a gas station. What was it? Gasoline? I saw a red gasoline container by Rena's feet. The cap was open. It was seemingly sturdy and made of metal. It said gasoline on the side, written in felt marker. She must have spread it across the entire classroom. The smell was almost giving me a headache. Ah, the gasoline smell from earlier. Right. No, it wasn't just in the classroom. The classmates were soaked in gasoline too. How could she? I see. This was just like a hijacker holding a bomb. If the police were to rush in, she'd burn the hostages. I didn't know where she got it, but she had a lighter in her left hand.
レナ、これはどういう真似だよ。
もちろんやらないよ。
And so if he uses a pepper spray, she'll, even if she doesn't intend to, she'll end up dropping the lighter and setting everything on fire.
万が一の時の保険なの。私だって大好きなみんなのバーベキューなんて見たくない。だから冗談で済んでほしいって思ってる。
Rena showed off the lighter. Obviously, she was trying to threaten me. I've heard about people committing suicide by setting themselves on fire. They pour gasoline on themselves and light it ablaze. You might think that if it was extinguished right away, it wouldn't be that bad. But human skin is supposedly very delicate. They say that even if 30% of the person's skin gets burned, it's enough to be fatal. If it was your entire body, it would result in death for sure. I had been put in this disadvantageous position. Yeah, I think part of it is shock. Definitely shock can do quite a lot of damage to your body. But, pretty sure people have survived being fully burned. But yeah, maybe not for kids, that might be worse. Or it might be better, I don't know. I'm no expert on this. My weapon might take Rena's sight, but I couldn't stop her from using the lighter. She'd probably use it the moment she's attacked. I didn't know if she realized it, but the kind of lighter she had would keep burning until the lid was closed. Therefore, all she'd have to do was light it and drop it onto the floor. True, because most lighters you need to keep the valve open in order for the flame, so you need to have your thumb or finger on it all the time in order to keep it going. In other words, my spray can wouldn't make Rena powerless at all. The last resort Oishi's son gave me had already lost all its power.
保険なんて大丈夫だろ。大石さんはスクラップ帳があればきっと警察を納得させられる。そうなればあとは一斉捜査で奴らの陰謀が暴ける。そうなんだろ。
あのスクラップ帳だけで本当に動いてくれるかな。お役所ってのはお尻の重いところだそうだからね。
Rena was thinking that if she didn't see any progress with the scrapbooks, she'd pressure the police by letting them know about gasoline.
とりあえずは大石さんを信じよう。あとは家宝を待つだけだろ。
そうだね。じゃあさっきの話の続きをするかな。それでね、その寄生虫は長い時間を経るうちに徐々に無害になっていったの。でもそれでは面白くない人たちがいた。 それがひなみ沢御三家なの。だから彼らは。
Rena was simply telling everyone what she heard from Takano-san. I started mumbling so I could let Oishi-san know what was going on.
すごい匂いだよな。ガソリンをポリタンク丸々ぶちまけるとすごいもんだ。
I was pretending to mumble to myself, so I could only say it very quietly. I wish I could say it louder, but it was probably impossible. I wasn't sure if Oishi-san could hear me. Thought of an idea to find out whether or not they could hear me.
車のクラクション聞きたいな。
クマちゃん、クラクション一発。
Kumagai honked once quickly.
ガソリンとは参ったっすね。これでさっきからなんとなく感じてた匂いの正体が分かりました。多分この後の要求を押し通すための切り札にするつもりでしょうね。
クマちゃん、普通の若い子がポリタンクって言い方をしたら18リットル入りのあれですよね。
さあ、多分。
小宮山君、営林署の人まだ返してないですよね。ちょっと呼んでもらえます？なるほどね。携行缶にはちゃんとガソリンと明記してあると。
But it isn't actually gasoline?
灯油のポリタンクにも灯油とちゃんと書いてある？
はい。中身を間違えたら大変ですから、すべての燃料容器にはちゃんと明記してあります。
Never mind then. Not too many people know this, but regular portable tanks can't hold gasoline. Gasoline, while common, is extremely flammable, and it can be lit even with static electricity. Therefore, gasoline must be kept in special metal containers. Those are so-called carrying cans.
じゃあ前原さんがガソリンって言ったのは間違いなくガソリンなわけだ。携行缶は何リットルのサイズのがあったんですか
？18リットル用と5リットル用の2種類があったと記憶してます。
5リットル用って多分平たい形をしたやつですよね。
ええ。真っ赤で平たくてこう取っ手がついています。
前原圭一はポリタンクという言い方をしましたね。18リットルの方でしょうか。
あるいは見慣れない形だったんで、とりあえず適当な言葉が思いつかずポリタンクという言い方をしたのかもしれない。でもどのみち本当にガソリンだとしたらかなり危険なことになります。
Gasoline burns when lit. But what's an even bigger threat than liquid gasoline are the fumes, right? Of course. Oh, that would. That might cause an explosion. Does she have it lit already? Also, it's possibly getting rid of oxygen in the room. People, especially closer to the floor, the hostages will probably start to faint. When gasoline fumes are lit on fire, they explode. Also, gasoline evaporates easily. Even at freezing temperature, it evaporates. And so, in other words, inside of a closed classroom, the fumes would fill the entire space. The classroom would then become a bomb itself.
クマちゃん、危険物第4類とかわかる？
いえ、気化ガソリンが危険だってことは理解してるんですが、詳しいことまでは。
18リットルと5リットルで最悪の場合どの程度規模が違うか調べときたいな。そうだ、じじいに聞いてみよう。すいません。署に連絡して鑑識のじい様がいるか聞いてみてください。
おお、話は聞いちょるぞい。犯人に直接名指しだそうじゃの。リーチ一発振り込みドカーンってところじゃの。
裏まで乗っちゃって大変なことになってます。そのドカンってのが実に笑えないですな。 ところですいません。危険物の第4種はお持ちで？
おつよんかここにいる人間全員足せば公主じゃぞい。どうした？ガソリンでも巻いて籠城しとるんか？
まさにそのようです。人質の一人に盗聴器を持たせてるんですが、どうも犯人は教室内にガソリンを撒いたようなんです。ただ、撒いた量が18リットル缶か5リットル缶かわかりません。両方のケースのですね、最悪の場合について教えてもらえませんかね。
教室の広さは？
だいたい50平米ですね。
室内は密閉か？
おそらく。さぞやガソリン臭いだろうと思います。
多いし、まずいぜ。
やっぱりシャレになりませんか？
教室は粉々に吹っ飛ぶぜ。教室内はまず全員死ぬな。
そりゃ18リットルの場合ですか？
He's talking about the 5 liters still.
アホ、5リットルの場合じゃ。わしの記憶がボケてないなら、1.8メートルの室内を吹き飛ばすのに4リットルもあれば十分だったはずじゃ。
The policeman listening to their conversation on the side went pale. 8 by 8 liters meant a ring that was 64 square meters. Only 4 liters needed to blow up that, but at least 5 liters were scattered in the 50 square meter ring.
つまりお釣りが来るってことですね。
And what about with an 18 liter? How big would the explosion from that be?
嫌なリーチだな。
Could it affect the people outside?
じゃあ聞きたくはないんですが、18リットルだったら？
そうだのう。大石風に例えると、親のリーチ一発ピンフ単葉赤赤ドラドラに振り込む感じかのう。
And all of that told us pretty much nothing.
どういう意味っすか？
親の倍満24000点。配給減点が25000点だから、1000点本は1本残るってことですかね。
そんなところだのう。柱1本くらいは残るかもしれんぞい。
そりゃあ振り込みたくないリーチだな。ね。
今のうちに消防署に連絡して化学車両を待機させた方がいいだろうのう。事件解決後の処理は消防の指示を仰ぐ必要があるぞい。
Based on what we heard from the notes, this isn't how Rika's supposed to die. She's supposed to be cut into pieces.
参ったな。こいつは盗聴情報なんで消防車を呼び寄せたらバレちまうな。なんとか学校から見えないところに待機させましょ
う。それがいいの。あとそれから多いし、盗聴。
ね
え。それがいいの。あとそれから多いし、盗聴器と言ったな。
さっき人質の一人と接触できましてね。その際にこっそりと盗聴器を持たせました。ガソリン散布はそれで分かったんですよ。
まずいの。化学火災の事例で発火原因に電子機器のランプの点灯があったはずだぞい。ガソリンの発火点は300度程度。火花はおろか静電気でも着火して爆発する。
冗談じゃない。なんだってそんな危険な液体がこうも簡単に世の中にあるんですかね。
知るか。消防法と自動車社会を作った連中に言え。6月だからのそう空気も乾燥しとらんとは思うが、とにかく万が一に備えて盗聴器の電源を切らせた方がいいだろうの。
大石さん、盗聴器で聞く限り犯人はライターを所持している模様です。
ってことは、つまり前原さんがスプレーを使って静止しようとしても着火までは防げない可能性が大ってわけだ。しかも盗聴器まで使えなくなるとは。なんてこった。
大石、ライ せてはならん。犯人もガソリンの危険性を認知しとらん可能性がある。量を聞く限り、とても知識があるとは思えんぞ。
Oshi's back was covered with cold sweat. He never even thought this would turn into such a serious matter. He didn't know how dangerous that gasoline was. He didn't know, because he'd never heard of cars exploding in car accidents. That's partially because I don't think it's actually gasoline. It's like a... I don't know what it's actually called. A specific oil. Anyway. He knew it was dangerous, but he didn't know what it was capable of. Gasoline is more dangerous once it evaporates. Therefore, a burning car in an accident and gasoline fumes being ignited are at completely different levels. Yeah, cars are very unlikely to actually explode. Most likely is on an empty tank, because it's all fumes. But even then, it's unlikely. It's quite simple to understand if you think about how car engines work. Cars vaporize gasoline with the carburetor and let it explode in the engine cylinders. In other words, that little explosion in the engine is what gives cars the power to move. Therefore, if you want more power, an engine needs to be bigger to create a bigger explosion. So, if an engine cylinder was the size of a classroom, how much power would it create? Anyone with knowledge of engines would know. But a lot of people don't consider how dangerous evaporated gasoline is, because it's too familiar. 25 hostages and 1 hostage taker. All 26 people were basically stuck in a huge bomb. Furthermore, the suspect might accidentally set it off. She would pretend to light the lighter as a threat. That would be the end. All of the people around Oishi had gone pale. The classroom might explode at any moment. How could they save the hostages? Especially when the criminal was living in her own delusion, and her requests were something so unreal.
失礼します。先ほど受け取ったスクラップ帳の中に犯人からと思われる文書が見つかりました。
One of the policemen brought over a folded piece of paper. Oishi opened it while the others watched. He saw girlish handwriting on the paper. He could tell this was written before she invaded the school. Dear Oishi-san, well, if you're reading this letter, that means I'm at the final stage. I must have seized the school and held the students as hostages. I am planning to appoint you as a negotiator, so please pretend to be threatened by me and become my contact with the outside. The first thing I want to tell you is that my enemy is the Sonozaki family, and also the aliens who are pretending to be parasites that control the Sonozaki family.
宇宙人?
I didn't think you'd believe me if I brought up the aliens, so I didn't tell you about them until now. But when you read these scrapbooks, you will understand. The aliens came to Earth in UFOs in ancient times. They landed in Onagafuchi Swamp. They used this village as their breeding grounds. And through that selective breeding, they widened their domain. They were successful, and now they were trying to invade the Earth.
なんだこりゃ。
All the other policemen frowned at the letter.
いやいや、驚きませんよ。高野の他のスクラップ帳も読みましたが、これに負けじを取らずの親切揃いです。個人的にはオッシーが面白かったな。
The Sonozaki family, as well as all the village authorities, have been brainwashed by the aliens. The villagers' attempts to revive the cult of Oyashiro-sama are actually part of the alien strategy to invade the Earth. The aliens are very clever. They don't let people realize they're being controlled. The Irie Clinic must be their secret research center. Please conduct an investigation and expose their secrets. Also, please check out the bottom of the swamp. The UFO must still be there. Also, capture all the relatives of the 3 families and take x-rays of their brains. You'll find hideous parasites inside of them. But please be careful. The aliens eliminate whoever finds out about them by replacing their host with a lookalike. That's how they've been controlling the village. But yeah, also, there isn't much space inside of your skull for anything large. Anything large enough to be like, all that clever. There's like a small layer around your brain, normally, although it depends person to person, and the ventricles, but you kind of need the... What's it called, the ventricles? I've forgotten. It's been so long. But you kind of need that space to maintain like proper pressure, and so that your brain fluids, which I've forgotten what they're called, like have storage spaces, etc. So there's not really enough space to have anything smart enough to control you inside of your skull. Without, I mean, I suppose they could take out part of your brain, but at that point they're causing other effects on the person's personality. Anyway, therefore, there may be already some aliens among the villagers. It is possible that they will try to interfere with your investigation. As a matter of fact, there have been lookalikes of Mio Takano, Rika Frude, and me, Rena Rubu. If you see any of those three, capture them immediately. That will be the proof of aliens existing among us.
高野美代？どうしてでしょうね。
ああ、あれだ。俺さ、彼女との電話で隣のケンケンさんの検視で1日ズレがあったかもしれないですよって言っちゃったことがあったんですよ。
ああ、検視結果のミスの話ですか。
それで私、祭りの日には死んでたはずなのにどうしていたのかななんてことを言っちゃったんです。それをこういう風に解釈す、ふざけ半分で脅しすぎたかな。それをこういう風に解釈するとはな。ふざけ半分で脅しすぎたかな。
自分の名前が含まれてるのも奇妙ですね。鏡に映ったのでも見間違えたとか。
One of the policemen spoke up. He was one of the pair who searched for garbage dump that night.
これは俺、わかるわ。ほら、竜宮レナを探し回った晩、小倉で目撃されたって話があったでしょ。あれだよ。あれは多分、村人の誰かが流したデマなんだよ。で、それを本人がどこかで聞いて、自分がもう一人いるように錯覚した。
くさったれ。ノストラダムスだっけ？あれの大予言と同じですね。何が起こっても予言に含まれるように解釈しちまう。今の竜宮レナは箸が転んだって宇宙人の仕業だって言い出すぞ。
あるいはいずれ捕まることを予見して精神鑑定で有利になる資料を先に用意したとか。
そんなことあの子は考えてないよ。あの子は本気で信じてる。いや、本気の本気で。コロッと生かされた私だからわかるんです。彼女は本気で信じてるんだ。このインチキスクラップ帳を。
あ、まだ1枚あるっすよ。何
P.S. I was poisoned yesterday with the same stuff that killed Tomotake's-san. I've been scratching my throat since then. I'll probably have clawed my throat open by tomorrow. If you can find the antidote when you investigate the clinic, please bring it to me.
これは使えるな。
ですね。本気で宇宙人の話を真に受けてるなら、解毒剤だと言えばうまく騙せるかも。
But you may not find the antidote, or maybe it'll be too late by the time you do. Therefore, considering the time I have left, I will set 7 p.m. tonight as the deadline. If an investigation doesn't take place and the antidote doesn't arrive by 7 p.m., I will choose to die with all the hostages by lighting the gasoline instead.
19時？今何時だ？
6:55?
18時前です。
Oh, okay. Days are long nowadays. It doesn't get dark even in the evenings. It'll probably start to get dark around 7 p.m.
あと1時間か。いや、1時間を待たずに火遊びで大爆発するかも。くそ！どうすりゃいい？
It
何が地球侵略と戦うだ。それに人質を巻き込むなんてめちゃくちゃだ。
めちゃくちゃなんです。今の彼女にはまともな交渉なんか通用しない。しかも本人は冷静だと思ってる分だけ立ちが悪い。
おいさん、それより次の文章。
We'll see what comes next time. Until then, I hope you enjoyed. Let me know any feedback you have in the comments. And yeah, see ya.